Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I could talk about both these amendments, but this first one is probably the most important one of these two. And I want to thank the chairman for his efforts in heeding the recommendations of the freight panel by creating a multimodal freight grant program that will help move complex mega projects forward. I served on the freight panel that was led by panel chairman Duncan and ranking member Nadler. There's strong need, this is strongly needed to have a freight program, and I'm very happy to add to the bill. Failure to provide contract authority for the projects of national and regional significance in MAP 21 hurt our freight system and our economy. So I'm happy with what's in this bill, except I have one concern. And that concern is a limitation in a new freight program. And I was pleased to work with my colleagues, Mr. Nadler, Ms. Brown, and Mr. Series, and all of these are freight panel alums, to offer an amendment to fix this issue. Specifically, rail projects are limited to $500 million in the aggregate over the life of the bill, thus limiting them to just over 11% of the funding available in the program. To remedy this issue, my amendment would strike the $500 million aggregate cap on rail projects for the grant program for freight and replace it with a 25% cap. I don't think that there should be a cap, but I wanted to accommodate the concerns here and put a cap on at 25%. This would bring the percentage of funds available for rail projects in line with the approximate percentage of general revenue funds that will be used to supplement Highway Trust Fund dollars. So Highway Trust Fund dollars would not be going to these projects then. Rail is an essential component of our freight system. We all know that. Many of you have heard me talk many times about the CREATE program, which is aimed at modernizing Chicagoland's maze of railroads that slow down goods movement and harms our national economy. These issues aren't going to get any better if we don't fix the rail system in Chicago. 40% of freight moves by rail through Chicago, and FHWA anticipates that freight rail trade in Chicago will triple by value and double by weight in the next 25 years. To date, $1.4 billion worth of public and private contributions have helped move CREATE forward, but more is still needed to complete the program in order to leverage the $28.3 billion worth of benefits over the 30-year period. While I'm pleased the grade separations are not subject to this cap, and I think that's very important, I'm concerned that the remaining $500 million will not go far enough to complete CREATE, as well as projects such as the B&P Tunnel in Baltimore, the Alameda Corridor in California, and the Cross Harbor Rail Freight Tunnel in New York and New Jersey. These will also suffer and remain uncompleted. I know on a freight panel we visited both the Alameda Corridor and also the went to New York and New Jersey, look at the freight tunnels. So they're very important for freight, and if we leave this 10% cap on non-highway projects under this freight grant program, it would be very detrimental to getting those projects done. So I'd ask that we remove that cap. The second amendment is on toll credits. Toll Credit Transfer Act, which I introduced with my colleague Mr. Duncan and was included in the Senate Drive Act. I also appreciate Mr. Lobiondo, Mr. Series, and Mr. Davis for co-sponsoring this amendment. For background, states that use tolls are permitted to generate toll credits that count towards a non-federal share requirement for highway and transit projects. And a number of states have successfully used tolling credits as a pay-for to cover the local match on highway and transit projects. While toll credits are not actual cash, they permit states to substitute these credits as a soft match on federal projects, which enables state flexibility in using funds over a period of time and allows them to better utilize scarce resources. Toll credits are not actual money, and the sale of these credits would be budget neutral. As states accumulate toll credits, their ability to utilize them is limited on an annual basis, and large balances that are unlikely to be spent accumulate. So very simply, my amendment would allow states that have toll credit balances to sell their excess toll credits to those states that do not toll. Under my amendment, for example, the state of New Jersey could sell a portion of its $3.6 billion toll credit balance to the state of Connecticut or Chairman's own state. Chairman's own state could also sell some of its $835 million balance to Tennessee or some other state. Similarly, Illinois could sell off some of its $1.8 billion balance, and Virginia and Texas could sell portions of their billion-dollar-plus balances. This amendment would help these states and the other 26 states that toll credits and allow them to be put to work. My amendment contains provisions that ensure states do not decrease investment and that any proceeds received from the sale of toll credits are invested in infrastructure. Also increases FHWA oversight and management of toll credits, which would ensure that states accurately report and honestly use these flexibility tools. For those members who are interested in their state's balance, I have sheets that list each state's balance. So I know I went through both of those very quickly, but I think these are two very important amendments, and I would urge my colleagues to support them, and I'll yield back.
I thank the gentleman. The other gentleman.